Oh, this is great. So I was typing the description to the show today, and I just laughed my ass off because I'm a child, like I'm a little kid when I was typing the description. I was like, "What the hell am I doing?" What's going on, guys? Episode 20. That's right. We've somehow made it to 20 episodes of this silliness. So that means uh, one episode a week times 20. Carry the one. We've been on for 3 years. 3 years. So today, what we're going to talk about is a couple of things. We're going to cover that 2019 Mustang, my 2019 Mustang with a Vortec, making pretty good power after diagnosing some silly things. It was actually, at the end of the day, was an easy fix, but it took a little while to get there, figuring out where to grab a proper boost reference for 2019, 2018, and 2019 Mustangs for the bypass valve to actually shut and get boost in the motor. Wow, you guys are insane with the questions already. YouTube corrupt anti-free speech liberal company says, what's up, Alex? Do you know if the 2021 Mustang will bring any new changes, any inside information? That's one that I do not have any good information. I used to know somebody at Roush, and they used to give me good information, but they went ahead and moved on to working for a THC company, which is way more lucrative apparently. So he went from working the social media stuff at Roush to pot, which look, the dude's making bank. I mean, he's making bank. Good for him. So the 2019 Mustang, let's talk about that real quick. The 2019 Mustang felt pretty good, and a lot of people were saying, well, wait a minute, that 1-2 shift you did on a reaction video, you said the car felt out of control and you thought it was pretty nasty. Look, at the time, it was just a 1-2 shift, and I didn't really ring it out in third. I don't have a reason to go watt 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 in that car. That car, I drive around the city. I drive back and forth to Miami a lot because I'm seeing someone that lives in Miami, and it's not something that I race often, and I really haven't come across anyone to race to say, hey, this thing's either making the power or not making the power. So I decided to get it on the dyno. Power by the Hour had recently upgraded the dyno. They bought some new equipment just to make sure that the speed sensor was legit. So I wanted to get it on there, see what it made. And when I went wide open throttle, that thing made no power, 517 or 507. I said, what the fuck is this thing? This thing's a piece of shit. I was, but I wasn't disappointed because I knew there was an issue. Figuring out the issue was a little bit of a process, which if you guys watched the video that I released last night, it was perfect. I showed the vetting of everything that was going on. So obviously, if you look at the IMRC configuration and where the lines come off of the lower intake manifold, one of them goes through a check valve. So apparently what was happening is it wasn't allowing the full boost to close the bypass valve, or even at vacuum, because when you take the bypass valve off of the Vortex supercharger, it is closed. Only when it actually sees vacuum will it open up some, and then when it sees boost again or no vacuum, it shuts. Well, what was happening was the thing was basically staying half open all the time, seeing about maybe 3 or 4 psi, maybe if that. With the moment I reconfigured the lines, 617 and then 620 and then 670. Now, I am not one of those guys that wants to go up there and make a lot of power on pump gas. That's not what I do. I'm not advocating making big power on pump gas. If the knock sensors add the timing and allows the car to make good power, beautiful. But I'm not going to say, well, let me shove timing in it and make 700 on pump gas. Fuck, that's stupid shit. Now, if that car has long tubes and free flowing exhaust, that thing's going to make 700 real horsepower on pump gas. And that actually looks good to Vortec. Vortec goes, shit, look at that. A 3.6 pulley, LU47s, basic bitch JT kit with a V3 making 700 wheel, over 500 torque. That's pretty damn legit. You can't really hate on that. So I'm waiting on some headers from Ultimate Headers. Ultimate Headers makes the headers that are in my Fairmont. And I absolutely love the fitment, the finish, the quality is just super badass. So I'm going to go ahead and wait on those for the 19 Mustang. I could throw a set of cat deletes on it, but I don't want to do that. The red car has free flowing exhaust, and that's how it's going to stay. And then the white car is going to get a set of Ultimate Header and see how that goes. Okay, so I'm gonna basically talk about that. A lot of people were asking, "Hey, Alex, when you took the intake off, did the car lean out?" You got to understand, the moment you take the intake off, it just allows more air to pass through the MAF. Now, the MAF is actually located in the charge pipe right before the throttle body in the straight section. So removing the intake, all it did was basically it saw maybe another pound or two of boost. And since the MAF curve is usually vetted all the way up to like a 3.3 pulley or a 3.3 pulley in a 10%, we knew the MAF curve accounted for the fueling properly. And after looking at the log, the car did not spike fuel trims, meaning the additional boost did not stress out the fuel system any further. The car was actually fueling properly. It was pretty perfect, and I didn't have to, worry about fueling. Now, am I going to run it around with an open filter? No, I want to make sure that 620 is fine. If I do go to the track on a cool day, that's when I really start looking at the short-term fuel trims and the measured AFR at wide open throttle to make sure that I don't start to lean out or that the fuel trims don't have a upward trend at the end. And the nice thing about the 2018 and up Mustangs is they have a fuel rail pressure sensor. I did not lose fuel rail pressure. It was steady throughout the pull, so I wasn't running out of fuel. The fuel pump gas is pretty dense. So the plans for the car is this: headers, free-flowing exhaust. It should make 700 wheel if everything stays the same with the 3.6 pulley. Then race gas, not E85, not anything like that. Race gas that has similar stoic to pump gas, meaning C16, 260 GT from Sunoco, or C10 fuel, something over 100 octane so that I can get it about 20 degrees in it. And that sucker might make 750, 760, maybe 770. On a 3.6 pulley, with a BAP and LU47s. Now, a lot of people were like, well, why is that enough injector? Yeah, guys, these things have 16 injectors. 16. There's 8 direct and 8 port, so it's all good. I'll start answering some questions real quick. Oh, perfect. JH brings up a subject that I wanted to talk about. I've already spent 6 minutes talking about the 19 Mustang. I'll spend the next couple talking about the C8 Corvette dyno numbers. So the C8 Corvette ended up making 558 rear wheel horsepower. And then after some math, parasitic loss for horsepower, they figure it's making upwards of 650 rear wheel horsepower. Is that possible? Yeah, I think anything is possible. At the end of the day, you gotta think, what is it, a 5? It's not a 5.5 liter, is it a 6.2? Let me, before I talk way out of my ass, I'm going to see what the actual displacement is. It's a 6.2. The 6.2 LT2 V8, and supposedly makes 490 from the factory. So Chevy was saying 490, 465 from a 6.2 LT2 V8. That's 35 more than the current Corvette Stingray. And the thing made 100 more than that, like way over that. And this is a pre-production model that they said, well, it's okay. And when they reached out to Chevy to ask about it, they were like, I don't know. So 650 crank is pretty badass. So 550 wheel, is it possible? Well, yeah, it's possible. I'm not saying that's likely. It's possible. So let's compare it to shit that we know of. I know a lot of people are saying fake news. Look, I'm not a hater. I want to see what this thing can do once production units start hitting the streets. Then we're going to start seeing what the deal is. Like, okay, let's see what's going on. Because according to some YouTubers, the new GT500 has 850 rear wheel horsepower. When you listen to the engineer, he said, no, 850 at the source. Meaning, if there is no parasitic loss, it has up to 850 horsepower crank on tap. And the guy absolutely misconstrued it. But this was a dyno test that was done in front of them. So let's say, for instance, you get a GT350. That's a 5.2 flat plane crank. Let's say you get E85 long tube headers, stock hole there. I've seen them make 510, 515 on a really happy dyno, 520. That's pretty damn good. When you add the 15%, it's up there. It's up there in the mid 500 range at the crank. So can a engine with bigger displacement, and I think they went back to direct injection. You might need to correct me on that, but they probably went to direct injection on the newer 6.2 C8 engine. Gosh, it might be making that kind of power. It might have been on some really sweet fuel, and I can't doubt that. You know, like I get it. I understand a lot of people understate their numbers, but to understate it by 100 wheel, that's astronomical. You know, because the thing was running insane numbers. Like supposedly it went 11.2 or 11.1 in the quarter mile. That's freaking badass. Okay, and a lot of people were kind of going off on me saying, I can't believe you like this new Corvette. Motherfucker, a $60,000 to $70,000 base Corvette that goes low 11s, supposedly makes now 550 wheel, mid-engine, rear engine, DCT, that's going to be a badass everyday and track car. And I don't think anything Ford can match it. I think the Corvette is at another level. And if the price is reasonable, Government Motors are actually make the price reasonable, and it's going to be hard to beat. That's just going to be hard to beat. There's going to be a lot of them. And if you've seen the renderings out there, they look really good once you start putting body kits and wheels on them bitches. If you don't think they look good, you got to get your fucking eyes checked. Mario Madrigal paid me, and that's why I look at the question. What the fuck? You look at her question. I look when it stands out. Does the Copperhead PCM have a fuel rail pressure sensor capability? I wouldn't mind pinning one. No. As far as I know, you have to get like a ZT2 box and get a sensor in the fuel rail and actually analog that in with the proper transfer function. As far as I know, the Copperhead does not have provisions for fuel rail pressure. Now, that being said, the GT500 does also have a Copperhead PCM, and it does have fuel rail pressure, but it is a GT500 strategy like GFD3, ARL5, YXHO, all that bullshit, and then the Ford Racing strategies, FGDX2X6 or whatever the fuck it's called. All of those have, and even GT500, like that strategy, actually has fuel rail pressure, but the GT500 0709 is a Spanish Oak PCM, 07 to 10, and then from 11 and up, they're Copperhead. And yeah, maybe there's a way of doing it, but is it worth it? I don't know. Pinning it, I don't know. You'd have to talk to Junior, and if Junior wants to go into the freaking matrix of the tune and find a function in there for you, Mario, only you, Mario, because we know you're up against all these other blower guys talking all this shit about your setup. It's actually pretty funny. Yeah, it is Government Motors. Angel One. Look, I'm not a lot of people got all sideways because they said that, oh my God, Alex is now a Chevy guy. What the fuck is wrong with you? A $70,000 mid-engine car that makes now supposedly 550 something wheel. How can you not get excited over that? Now, let's take a step back and stop. Let's just do some thinking. The car was run on a Mustang Dyno, as far as I know. The rumor is it was run on a Mustang Dyno. Now, being a tuner myself and being around dynos, can you manipulate dyno numbers? Absolutely. But damn, that's a really stupid thing to do if that was Chevy. Because if Chevy goes out there, manipulates the dyno numbers, or they give them a test mule that is freaking hot as fuck. I mean, it's got a hot tune, hot cams, hot shit. And then they start delivering production units, that make 100 less, there's going to be, not only people striking at the plant, but there'll be people, customers, picketing also with them saying, yeah, fuck that. This Corvette sucks. So it'll be, an interesting time once a new Corvette comes out. Same thing with GT500. And did you notice how the GT500, delivery date gets pushed back? You notice how they all of a sudden start getting pushed back. That can't be good. Something's up. Either a supplier ran out of, 15 to 17 headlights or, something's up with the car, calibration, who knows? Transmissions, who the hell knows? I don't want to talk too much shit, but that is the name of the show. Yeah, a lot of people saying, they're trying to get their numbers right. They better make sure those cats live a long ass fucking time. A long ass time. Because if people start melting cats with a TVS making 800 crank and high 600s wheel, that's why when my car made those kind of numbers, when my 19 Mustang made 670 wheel, I started to get worried. Why? Because it's got cats. It's got manifolds. If anything pops off, that's going to happen because it's really hard to cool the cats on the current fueling setup. The way you cool the way the manufacturers cool the catalytic converters and keep them cool is shove a bunch of fuel down its throat. If you look at a Roush calibration, you data log it, that bitch is running at 0.70 lambda at wide open throttle, and you get black soot off of the exhaust, and they still clog a cat. Hellcats run insanely rich to keep the cats cool. So it's going to be interesting if Ford can somehow keep the cats cool, or what they're going to have to do is lower boost, and make the car tame as fuck. All right, someone said balls up here, so I, might as well look at balls. Your thought about the GT500 Whipple 3.0 Gen 5 versus a 265 TVS. Again, that's one of those things where I don't know enough about the Ford racing version of the GT500. Notice how Ford shoved a completely new Eaton on top of the Predator engine than something that was available in the aftermarket. Roush! Roush! They did not put a Roush blower on that thing. The previous version, the Trinity, once the Trinity blower came out in the 13 GT500, all of a sudden they started putting it on Roush S550s, and that sucker did really well. So the Roush S550 got a Trinity similar TVS design, but the new Predator did not get a Roush design. They had a completely new top intercooler, lower rotor setup, similar to like an Edelbrock blower or a Whipple Gen 5, or even Whipple Gen 5. Okay, so let me look at some questions. 2016 Mustang, is Viking front coilovers worth the gains for the money? Yeah. So the nice thing about the Vikings front coilovers is once you get the nose up, you don't want it to come back quick. My red car had the biggest issues on the planet because I had front EcoBoost springs and front EcoBoost shocks. So the moment the front went up really quick, it came down really quick. And that unloading of the rear, meaning the weight getting unloaded from the rear, caused it to hook, spin, hook. So if you can get the car to get the nose up, keep the nose up, and slowly bring it down, meaning rebound at 0 and compression high, let the car come up and stay up, and slowly down the track, nose down, that seems to be the ticket for those front Viking. They seem to do really well, and it's hard to control the nose without any kind of adjustable dampening in the front. How much does high altitude factor in the performance of the 5.0? Look, it affects it vastly. If you're up in a mile high, I don't know. I know Junior probably, because Junior loves math. It was funny. I was talking to Junior, and I made a joke. I made a joke one time about like a clock. Someone has a clock, and the clock at 12 o'clock is a math equation, and it equals 12. So I said, when I said I don't know what time is it, and I said the square root of something, and Junior kind of was like, wait a minute, and he had to figure it out. So if you want to know how much boost you lose per 1,000 feet of altitude, Junior's the guy. I'm not in math anything. I'm really bad at math actually. I just happen to know engines halfway decent. Would Lund start tuning a C8? If I got a C8, I guarantee Senior will be all over it. Junior maybe won't be that excited over it until he drove it. It's pretty funny because when I went up there, not the last time, the time before last, we drove a GT350 with a Whipple and a TVS, a Whipple auto car. And he drove it. And he's like, this is the first time I've driven an auto TVS or Whipple car. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. He went right from a Vortec to a turbo. So he immediately made some tune changes based on what he felt. So it'd be interesting to see if John Jr. got in a C8, started flicking the paddles and, going, I need to tune this motherfucker. Because I think he's that type of guy that needs to feel it to say, I can improve on it, as opposed to being interested in it and wanting to tune it. I don't think I would get a C8, obviously, because one's expensive. I'm not going to do it for the channel. I'm not one of those YouTubers that mortgages their future to get clickbait bullshit. Like you see YouTubers get the same shit over and over. They get a 2-valve, then they get an S550, then they probably shoot for a Corvette or Viper if they make it in the channel, or they mortgage their futures based on, likes. If I was to buy it, like what I did, I think I went backwards. I bought the 15 Mustang 19 because honestly, I thought it was an opportunity for me to learn the TC298 new Ford computer and have Lund have a boosted manual calibration ready to go. I did it for my job, not for YouTube. As you notice, the car is not on YouTube all that much. It will start being on YouTube now that everything is running pretty well, but I didn't buy the car for YouTube purposes. I think that's just kind of stupid. Okay, doing it for the likes. Yeah, Eric Batchelor, you know, when you do it for the likes, like I know, what's his name? One of the fucking YouTubers, Street Speed, whatever. Street Speed dude, the guy with the stupid sunglasses. That dude bought every like clickbait vehicle you could think of. He's obviously a Chevy guy, and good for him. Then he bought a GT500. I'm like, why'd you do that? And then he bought a McLaren, I think, and then he bought a ZR1, and I was like, and then he was getting beat by GTs, and I was like, oh man. But people are watching, so who's the loser? Me, because I don't have that kind of money. No way. Joe Rogan, maybe less high. Someone said about Joe Rogan? YOLO Rogan is what I'm calling you. YOLO Rogan. Yeah, I like Joe Rogan. I watch his I don't watch it religiously. There are some people that live and die by people like Joe Rogan and Gary Vee. Gary Vee to me is one of those guys that, good for him, he says nothing. He says absolutely nothing, and you motherfuckers eat that shit up like if he's you know, saying the gospel. He's like, okay, guys, this is what you do. You're going to go out there, you're going to fucking crush it. You're going to crush it, fucking crush it. And then after you crush it, you're going to come back and go, I'm not a fucking asshole. I'm not going to have pity for myself. Crush it. And then get up and do stuff. Get up, do something. Get out of the house and do stuff. Do you think I don't do anything when I get out of the house? I do stuff. And you guys go, yeah. And I'm like, what did he say? What did he say to make you money? He didn't say, hey guys, invest in this company because this company is going to take off because I saw their fucking facility and it's badass. Gary Vee, if he was actually a bro, he would have said, guys, invest in THC, invest in any company extracting, you know, some pot shit. Any company with pot shit extracting oils, invest in that shit. He didn't say nothing. He didn't say a goddamn thing. So if Gary Vee was a bro and was going to give you advice on making money, he'd be like, bro, invest in weed. Why? Because everyone's a fucking loser and they want to get fucked up. And it just happens to have great medicinal purposes. Boom. Then I listen to Gary Vee when he does shit like that. But when he gets up and says, you guys got to get on Snapchat. You guys got to get on this shit. You guys got to do it. You got to suck some dick. And after you suck some dick, make sure you don't, you know. Gary Vee, say something. Say something. You know, give me, you know, something measurable instead of being a motivational speaker. Sometimes I wish there was people that would go up to a Gary Vee and instead of saying, how can I do better at my sucky life? And say, Gary Vee, give me something specific that I can do in terms of investment or anything to give me a better chance of making money. He will absolutely go, dude, get up and do stuff. Stop being a fucking douche. You know, he's not going to give you specifics. That's just how it is. Dan Pena, good. I like Dan Pena. Dan Pena is one of those guys that, older guy. He's like a Gary Vee, but an older version of a Gary Vee. The best clip of Pena, I think his name's Gary Pena or something Pena. It was some woman asked him about you millionaires and your money, and and he started talking shit on global warming. Again, another subject I don't want to get tangled up into, but his take was interesting. Get some questions here. Fuel for Fire gave me $5 and didn't do a damn thing. Coyote Chris says, I'm not sure if you've answered this, but what's the purpose of locking out the cams? Gain in NA or boosted build? So Coyote Chris, great question. Right now I'm working with Brian at Finish Line Performance. Brian Campbell, probably one of the better guys to work with. I mean, that guy just gets it. Like if he's one of those guys that he's like, hey Alex, I got a car on the dyno. Can we get it done? I'm like, fuck yeah. You know why? Because I know the shit's built right and it's fine. He recently had a customer have a twin turbo car, and at really high boost, really freaking high boost, the phasers stopped controlling the cams. It went whoop, the cams went whoop, and they went to zero. They went back to their parked position, and it felt like he hit a limiter. And he's like, what happened? I said, I don't know, but it doesn't like super high boost. And sometimes whether it's the oil, because the cam phasers are controlled by oil. So I don't know if it's oil starvation, especially on twin turbo cars, if the oil is becoming froth, if becoming like some kind of freaking frothy shit you see at the top of like lattes. So I think the phasers at super high boost and high horsepower cars that are boosted, specifically turbo, tend to wig out the VCT. So we say, dude, lock them out at this position and no more issues, because most of those guys are up on the chip and they're already at optimum performance angle. So there's no reason to have VCT when they're launching at 4,500 RPM at 8 pounds of boost. It's already where it needs to be, and we don't have to worry about your cams wigging out and reverting back to zero because of oiling issues. Coyote Chris, that is the best way I can answer that question. Steven Brazell says, any thoughts on the C8 having where'd you go? Any thoughts on the C8 having the same ECM encryption as a Z01 L5P ECMs? Retail is still 18 to 2,500 for no lock swap out. Steven, if you saw the Z01 get a tune like 4 months after it came out, I guarantee the new Corvette is going to look, where there's a will, there's a way. Mexicans have a wall in front of them. They dig a tunnel and make an underground network, or they freaking paraglide in. There are ways around any obstacle. So I don't really think that's going to be an issue. Just give it time. Beards and Car says, blown 15 GT, third gear cut out when I stab the pedal and go wide open throttle. Car did it twice after traction off. Car wouldn't replicate IAT's 135 or so. Blown 15 GT, third gear cut out when I stab the pedal and go what? We'll have to look at your knock sensors, Beards and Cars, especially if it's a centrifugal supercharged vehicle. If it's not a centrifugal supercharged vehicle and it is a PD, positive displacement blower, it's more than likely traction control still coming in like advanced track. I can't imagine it's anything else but that, unless you have fueling issues, lean spikes, or fueling, starvation, especially on tipping. Think of it. It's happening on tipping only. So we'll have to look at that. AKDMB says the 01 PCM took over a year to crack. Okay, you could be right about that, but it got cracked and now they're running 860s with it. So, Beards and Car says it's PD. We'd have to look at a log. I'm not sure if I'm tuning it or we're tuning it, but we'll see if there's a lean spike in the log. See if your secondary fuel pump is not coming on fast enough and it's creating like a lean spike, a momentary lean spike in the system. If it's a return style fuel system, it's more than likely to happen when you have low fuel in the tank. So bunch of different variables, but a log will tell the tale. Ryan P says, what's up, Alex? Do I need a BAP or fuel pump with 47s to run 85 on a 15 GT with headers, 18 manifold, and GLT intake? No, sir. All you need is a set of injectors with an aftermarket manifold like the 18 manifold. The BAP would be nice if you ever go nitrous. The BAP would be nice just to have overhead, but it is not necessary. Fed Snake says, the new Lincoln Aviator has a hybrid option. It has a twin turbo V6 with an electric motor making 494, 630. No shit. Badass. Is this the answer you've been looking for from Ford, future Mustang GT? Now that is very interesting. Thank you for that, Fed Snake. If the Lincoln Aviator has a 3-liter V6 with 630 foot-pounds of torque, I am going to rent one and see what that's all about, because 630 foot-pounds of torque is badass shit. I will get one and I will absolutely data log it and see what the hell is going on. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. I'll probably make it a video too, because why not? Ruslan Z says, 14 GT put a Paxton 2200. When I start to check for leaks, I have a wrench light. What could it be? I get tuned after all it's put together. Love the video. Without you telling me what the wrench light is for, I cannot get. You know how many guys I get that always say the same thing? Go, Alex, I got to check engine light. Here's a log. What is it for? Tell me the code. I'm not Kreskin. That's an old reference. Johnny Carson. I cannot tell what the code is based on a log. The log doesn't say, well, crankshaft position not learned. It just gives me data. So you need to tell me what the code is. And it's more than likely crankshaft relearn or a lean code or a circuit code. Clouds says, you come to TX2K Houston is turning from a lot of Chevy turbo trucks and Camaros to fast Mustangs. Absolutely. My intention for Texas 2K is to go to every single one. And now that I saw footage of FL2K, seems like it's getting popular, I will go next year just to dip my toes in the water. I just don't really like the Florida crowd. I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of that part of Florida. I don't like it at all. I don't like the people, and the track's cool. The track's great, but I'm not a big fan of that area of Florida at all. Texas gives me a nice warm feeling, man. When I go to Houston, man, people treat me great. They're nice people. That part of Florida is full of shitheads, and I probably get into a fight because I just don't take any shit from shitheads in that area at all. A lot of people up there talk a lot of shit, and they think I don't notice. Oh, I notice. I notice every single little thing. Trust me. Opinion on rear end gears for a manual NA S550, specifically 373 versus 409. It depends on the year, brother. If it's a 15 and up, 15 and 18, I'm sorry, 15 to 17, I would keep it at 373. But if it's boosted, I'd bring it down to 355 or 331. If it's a 18 and up, which 18 has a different geared transmission, I would do 373s or 410. Kyle Elliott says, love the concept, Alex. I have a Gen 3 Whipple 2.9, 12 GT500, track pack making 820 wheel. Wow, must be on 85. I do mostly roll racing. Should I stick with 373 or drop down to 331? 373. Keep the 373 because at the top of fourth, you're going like 140, 50. That's more than enough for a roll race, unless you do 60 to 160. If you do 60 to 160 rolls, 331. If you do 40 to 140, 373s. Ruslan says throttle body. Oh, you're getting a throttle body code, Ruslan. Well, did you connect the throttle body? This sounds really stupid, but did you look at the connectors and make sure it's actually connected? I've seen that happen many times. That Florida car usually has about 12 teeth for the whole family. Steven Brazil, you are right. You hit it right on the head. Anytime you go anywhere north of Port St. Lucie, and Port St. Lucie's a little sketchy. It's a little sketchy, a little Puerto Rican-y and kind of white trashy. So, like Okeechobee, Belglade, yee country, like yee. Everyone with their fucking, it's nasty up there. So when you get to the Bradenton area, it's still yee country, but they got a little money. You could tell that it's a little more developed in that area, but the attitude of that area is full of like everyone thinks they're a grudge racer. Like everyone thinks they're fucking big chief. Everyone's always looking. They always say the word gap is always like 2 seconds away from their vocabulary. Like they can't not say gap 15 times. Like if they go to get, if they go to 7-Eleven and they're pouring a slushie next to that guy, well, I gap that ass and then just walk away. It's constant stupid talk in that area. I don't like the people. I don't like the area. Nothing. I don't like anything about anything north. I don't even consider that shit Florida. I was like, which part of Florida? Anything north of Port St. Lucie. Fuck that. Anything north of Port St. Lucie, in my opinion, is absolute shit. B. Watt says Bradenton sucked. You ain't kidding. You go there for, if you go there for NMRA, that's the only time I would go there. And I didn't even go last year. NMRA, it was like the moment you leave the track, at the track, it's fucked up. And then the moment you leave the track to try to get a meal or something, dude, it's like a mix of banjo and what's that movie where the guy got raped and they say, squeal like a pig. Woo, yee, wee, squeal like a pig. Deliverance. It's like Deliverance at the beach. Think of Deliverance at the beach. That's Bradenton and the whole Tampa stupid shit area. No, thank you. Someone said 673 was impressive, Alex. Thank you very much, Big Daddy Trucker. Again, I didn't make it do that. I didn't shove timing down its throat. All I did was make sure that the bypass was shutting. So a Vortec V3 through a manual Mustang, as long as the fuel is sweet. And it only saw 14 degrees. So I'm going to say something that I love when people say, it's got more in it. It's got more in it. Don't you love that when people say that? They go to the track. They say, oh, and I only went on this size pulley. I can do 15 size pulleys smaller. Why didn't you go with everything? Oh, fuck's wrong with you? Make sure the paid questions are out of the way. Nope, everything good. So someone said 32 degrees. Actually, it saw 14 and a half, and then it blipped 15. And I think I have spark plug blowout, meaning at 7,400 RPM, that dip in the graph, Junior heard it too. He heard it on the video. He said, I think that has spark plug blowout. So what I'm going to do is take the spark plugs out, gap them down to about 25 thousandths. They're NGK 6510s. And when I get the headers, put them in, make another pull, and then put race gas in it, make another pull, and that's it. I mean, I'm not going to put a fuel system in that car. Fuck all that. B. Watt says, Tampa is just full of strippers, old people, and military. Absolutely. G-Unit Silk City. Hialeah has so much Cuban cheeks and thoughts walking around, you'd be sick and tired of that. Hialeah is special. Hialeah, that's where the real Cubans are at. Like, real Cuban. Like, Frank Perdomo from Power by the Hour, not Cuban, he's American. Hialeah has real Cubans. If I do a Wii mod, do I need a tune? Paul Monaco, that's actually a funny question. We were talking about that today. If you do a Wii mod, what's a Wii mod? You drill a hole in the cold air and you plumb in the sound into the cabin, meaning the driver cabin. People are actually funneling sounds into the cabin, blowing my mind. So you know what's happening, right? that hole that you just drilled in the cold air that was specifically designed to be sealed or, to grab good fresh air, now is fucked because now the air is being diverted somewhere else so that you can hear the wee inside the car. And what's happening is the MAF is wigging out. I remember a hood manufacturer, I'm not going to name names. They said, Alex, I'm driving my car. This hood manufacturer or, body part manufacturer had a hood made for a 15 S550 Mustang with a supercharger with a ram air. And he's like, yeah, it drives really shitty. I go, right. He goes, why is that? I go, because you're shoving air in it when it's not asking for it. The throttle body is shut. You're shoving air in it, turbulent, and the Roush cold air is sealed. Right? The only time you want the seal taken off or an open air element is when it's a better shield. And when you go wide open throttle, you won't see that much of a difference. But when you're just cruising around the highway at 60 mile an hour and the bitch is like, right? Because you're having a ram air effect into the MAF. It's doing all this shit in the MAF. The MAF's going, I see air, I don't see air. I see air, I don't see air. The throttle body angle is at 5 degrees. And you're like, I wonder why it's running like shit. And I told him to take the ram air hood off of that bitch. Typical PD blower gain is WeMod. Exactly. Tony, I agree with you, Tony Full Bolt On. The WeMod is gay as fuck. Someone's like, shut up. Kyle, I get that we know it's from an MT82. You're right. The MT82 is a whiny little bitch. Someone says rhymes with Cervini. Yeah, it rhymes with Cervini. Don't worry, chat. I work with Sean Brimall, Joe Martin. Is there a problem with Lund Racing customer? Is there a problem with Lund Racing customer service? What would be the problem? Sam Anthony, tell me what the problem is, because we're killing it, man. I was on top of shit today. We got the list down to a good number. I was actually turning around tunes real quickly today. So I don't know if you're having issues with customer service. Your opinion on throttle body spacers for NA Coyote? Don't. My opinion is don't. Someone's like Cervini with an S. Look, he just basically asked me about surging, and I said it's the ram air. It's usually that will cause issue. You do not want to ram air into a MAF. Now, a lot of people, for whatever reason, think that the Mustangs are like old Fox bodies, where you can just like disconnect the O2 sensors. Just disconnect the O2 sensors. I'm like, hey, your O2 sensors aren't reading. Oh yeah, I didn't plug them in. Why the fuck not? The MAF is so crucially important for fueling coming in. So the fuel comes in, it compensates. The widebands go, this is the air fuel mixture, and it's a constant cycle. So the moment you take one of those variables away, the car's going to go, here's some fuel, fuck it. It defaults to another table, and it goes, we're going to run off the base fuel table. So wide open throttle, 1.0 lambda, sick. Blows the fuck up. You mean sawzalled my hood for no reason? Steven Brazell. If you want to go wide open throttle, absolutely. Even my Fairmont, I made sure that the PMAS cold air was like halfway in the fender, right? A lot of people are like, why don't you just leave it in the engine bay? Because the fan, the shitty black magic fan, is just fan washing the MAF, and the thing's like, So once I moved it into the fender, it took it away, and that race filter didn't help it either. So luckily, PMAS came out with another race filter, which is half shielded. Very, very smart. I'm trying to get one of those guys. GT350 manifolds. Is there much gain using the 350 throttle body versus the 5.0? No. I'm going to make, when I get around to it, look, I'm going to do a lot of traveling in the next couple of weeks. Okay. I'm going to try to test this Friday on the Fairmont at the track. I'm going to be at Lund Racing all of next week, and I'm going to be up there training, and then we're going to go to World Cup I'm going to crew for the Blue Goose to, see if we can run a badass number at World Cup. And I think it's cool just to get out there in the racing crowd, because everyone thinks we're not racers, which is fine. We're not. We're just a very successful tuning company that happens to race and be really quick. And then when I come back, I have another thing I got going on. I'm going to try to get another test session in on that Friday, and then Mod Nationals is a week after that. So it's going to be tough to get more testing in on the red car. Is there a common cause for O2 circuit high voltage code after blower install? After blower install? Circuit codes? Circuit codes usually tell me you have a connectivity issue. So I'm sure you pulled harnesses apart and didn't fully connect them back. And I'm sure one of those harnesses was your O2 harness. have you tuned the new Steeda cold air with the CJ? Yeah. We've seen some issues with the turbulence. It's a little turbulent. Now, they have had great success with their silver bullet running that intake. I've seen some intakes on the street just not have a great signal. Now, wide open throttle performance is going to be great. I think wide open throttle performance on most cold airs is going to be great. When people ask me, what cold air intake do you recommend for the CJ setup? I say the FRPP or the PMAS. Period. Done. Don't ask me about any other manufacturer. I know the Steeda one has had good reviews and some people have had some issues, so they're working through that, and that's basically all I can say about that. Steeda is going to need to make sure that the MAF signal and the MAF placement is good on both ends. Make sure it's not turbulent. Make sure that when you log MAF frequency, it's super stable. And because what people are going to do is they're going to buy it based on performance, but a lot of people buy great performing parts for drivability. And I'm like, sometimes they don't have to do with each other. Thoughts on Sean at AED? I like Sean. Sean's a good guy. Sean actually helped me out a lot when this is my second stint at Lund Racing. The first stint was short-lived. I was only there from December to March or April. And it went away, which I will talk about one of these days once I get the green light. That is a good story. That's a good story. I like him. He actually helped me out. He's a good guy. He's smart, innovative, doesn't mind trying new shit. Good tuners. Little hothead, but so am I. I'm a hothead. You talk some dumb shit, I'll get sideways with you. And he's one of those guys. He's just, passionate. That's the best way I can describe him. Super passionate about his job, and he takes his shit serious. O2 sensor code on startup means the O2 sensor going out, free flowing exhaust, etc. running 85. Yeah, if you get a sensor code, you have an issue with the O2 sensor. The car is telling you what is wrong. If it's your first time at World Cup, you're going to have a blast. Not really. This is why. This is a job. I take that shit serious. I'm not watching other cars race. I'm there to crew for my boss, John Lund. So I'm not going to be at the fence, battling all the Puerto Ricans, smoking weed, talking shit. That's not going to be me. I'm going to be in the trailer, looking over logs. I might be tuning you guys because I'm sure someone's going to complain that their 19 Auto NA car only went 11.2. I'm like, really? That's pretty fucking good. And they want to go 10s because grudge race. I love the guys that go, I got a grudge race coming up. I got a grudge race. I'm like, you grudge race your 19 Auto NA car? What the fuck's wrong with you? Grudge racing NA cars. What's the world coming to? Matt Angerman says 13 GT, MT82, VMP, Gen 2R, 79 pulley. Just got a fuel system, going to go 85. Would you pulley down to a 75? Fuck no. No way, because the 79 and the 85, you can make enough to blow it up. If it's built, sure. If it's not built, keep it on a 79. Keep the rods inside the engine. Hey, Alex, I ordered an E85 tune today from London, my 18. Can you do me a favor and do it for me? That'd be cool. No. I'm not saying no because I dislike you. There's 3 other tuners, and wherever they end up, they end up. Love you, but, I can't tune everybody because then I'd be, just bogged down. So we have to, distribute everything evenly. Alex, best gears for boosted Gen 2 auto packs in 2200. Ported 18, stainless works headers, free flowing, 87mm, stage 2 blower cams, currently have 315. 331s. I think 331s is a nice in-between gear where you're going to get good umph off the line and still have plenty of top end. 355s if you want a little more on the front half than the back half, but I would stay away from 373s or 410s. Alex, you missed some paid questions up top. Thank you, sir. Let me go look because I have a nice little window that tells me exactly what's going on. Someone said I bought a Wii mod. Someone said you skipped my paid question. Fuel for fire. He said 850 rear-wheel horsepower on the 85 possible on blown built motor. 14 GT with a Siley fuel system and ID1000s. Or do I need a big boy fuel system and bigger injectors? You'll probably be close. But I don't want to wring your car out on that fuel system. Siley fuel systems are great. It's a good budget system. But if you want to really send it and not worry, you buy a fuel system once. So you buy a 4 Innovations triple hat because knowing you're not going to be happy with just 850 rear-wheel horsepower, even though that is a shit ton of horsepower. But it is possible on a blown built 14 GT, whether it be a VMP blower, whether it be when we're saying built, I'm saying forged internals and cams. That's when I mean built. If you got stock cams. But a fully built motor, I think you'd absolutely be able to make 450, especially with a centrifugal. They seem to make a ton up top, but any blower will get it done, in my opinion. 2.3, 2.6, 3.0, 2.9, Paxton 2200, V3, V7, turbos, all that shit. Phoenix NFA said, on your 19, you said pump gas, pump 93 or pump 85. No one on their fucking mind, no one in their right fucking mind says pump gas and means E85. Because that's pump ethanol. What's the easiest way to know what is the easiest way to know if a pre-owned manual 15 has had a tune in it? Also, is it possible to get the cam lobe tune with the Boss 302 intake? Yes, you can get the Boss 302 intake cam lobe tune. If it's had a tune in it, if the rev limiter is any higher than 6850, the stock rev limiter for every S550 and 11 to 17 is like, 6850 or 7000. So if your car revs past that, it's got a tune, buddy. Fuel for Fire, already said that. I bought a weed mod because I was the one that made the meme on Instagram. That's great. Matt Angerman says 13. I already got that one. Keep the 79. And hey, Alex, I already 85 tune. And he said if I could tune it for him, but I cannot. So the other thing I wanted to talk about today, what was it? We're talking about some stuff at Power by the Hour, just to switch it up a little bit. I don't want to just constantly, barrage you on car stuff. I wanted to talk about CA Corvette. Covered that. I covered the 19 Mustang. And someone's asking me about Bama's free Tunes for Life membership. And do you see any other loan or tuner doing this? No. No tuner in their right mind will give you free Tunes for Life. That doesn't exist. I think Bama did that as sort of I don't want to say a gimmick, but it kind of didn't matter because I couldn't imagine supporting you 3 years after the fact and then you change your setup 14 times and I don't charge you any extra. That's just bad business, period. We were talking. Oh, okay. We're talking. So I was talking to Pezzo or Christian. And he said, we were talking about Pezzo has a couple of gay neighbors. And the gay neighbors are always talking about their sex life. They're always talking about this and this and that. They're just kind of going on and on. So I said, that's interesting. It'd be weird because he gets along with them very fine. So I said, let me ask you a question. If you had a task and the task was giving a man a blowjob, who is best suited for that task? Best suited for that task. Take sexuality out of it. Take emotion out of it. Who is better suited at giving a man a blowjob? A woman or a man? So if you were a manager and the CEO says, I need you to hire someone to suck dick, would a man do a better job at it than a woman? I love how everyone keeps talking about car shit and I'm just going on about other shit. I don't care. I said, in all honesty, I think a man, because he has the equipment, would be best to do the job. Someone's like, stop. Fuck you. You don't like it? Unsubscribe. Get the fuck out of my channel. So Pezzo, I think, kind of agrees. I think Christian agrees. But then the owner of the building actually said, dude, I think a woman would be, because I said, okay, let's say, for instance, you had a bulldozer and you needed to hire a man or a woman to drive that bulldozer based on no experience except their gender. So he's like, well, I think a woman would do a better job. I said, why is that? And he's like, because a woman would be more delicate. And I went, that's pretty good. That's actually, I like that he gave me that angle. Whereas all the other guys are like, oh, I'm going off of sexuality. No, forget sexuality. I think if a man has the equipment, he'd be better suited to handle that equipment. But if John, the owner of the building, says, actually, I think a woman would be more delicate, I'm like, see, that's what I like. That's the kind of debate. That's the kind of debate we like to talk about here. I like how all the car questions went away. Thank God, because you guys with your car questions just go constant, the same shit over and over. You tell me your whole combo, and then I have to sit there and read your whole combo, which is a book. And then I'm going to say, yeah, it'll run well. Yeah, we'll tune it. So I like to break it up every once in a while. So in my opinion, a man is better suited for that job. Why? Because he has the equipment. Just like a woman is better suited to give oral to a woman because she has the equipment. And she has, I think, a better understanding of it. There you go. You can run with that. If you want, cut it up as a clip, put it on Instagram, do whatever the fuck you want. B-cam or E-cam, exactly. Someone says, I started operating a bulldozer at 19. Is that like code for jerking off? No, I'm not offering my services. That's pretty funny. Okay, Mopar Eater says, I don't know. Okay, Matt Angerman says, stock engine for now. Either Gen 2 bottom end or rods and pistons engine over the winter. When do you recommend porting the lower intake? If it's a TVS, immediately. It's not going to make 50 more horsepower. Like, I got everything ported when I had my previous setup. Honestly, I didn't really think it was that big of a difference. My heads being ported didn't make that big of a difference. Honestly, they made about the same power as an unported setup based on multiple tunes, multiple dyno sessions. I've done hundreds, if not thousands, and porting didn't make a huge difference. It made a difference, but not a huge difference. Oh, did you measure boost? And shut the fuck up. Did you fucking swing the cams differently? Shut up. Why does Lund make cam tunes but no burble tunes? Think of all the fuck boys at the car meets, man. This is why, Ethan. A cam tune we can make. If anyone else has a cam tune, guys, understand this. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think any other tuner except maybe Sean has a cam tune. That alone is such a big deal. So let's say you have this combination: 18 manifold, LU47s, flex, JLT or PMAS or air raid, long tubes. You want a normal and a cam tune, right? Then you change something like the cold air. Now I got to change both the cammed and lobe tunes for the Cedar cold air. Then you want a race tune, right? Let's say you want a race tune, you want an E85 race tune, or you want or a pump gas tune. Okay, so now your folder has 80 things, and it's not worth the price. Actually, we don't charge for the cam tune, and the reason we don't charge for the cam tune is because we don't adjust it. If it chops, great. If it doesn't chop, too fucking bad. It's free. So imagine adding a burble tune to the equation. Cammed, burble, 18 manifold, cold air, LU47s. I mean, it is more work than a twin turbo 1,000 horsepower car. Way more work. And your ass is going to go, it doesn't burble enough. It burbles a little. I want it to burble more. I want it to burble less. I want it to chop different. I had a guy type up in an email, I don't like how your cam lobe tune goes. And he typed out, it goes da 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 da. I wanted to go da 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 da. And I went, oh my fucking God. So that's why we don't make burble tunes, because we're going to be sitting there making burble tunes and normal tunes and cam tunes for dumb shit. And it's just going to bog us down and make your folder look like War and Peace. And it's just, and then you're going to say, that 100 octane burble, no cam, normal Stida 18 manifold with IMRC long tube tune was the best one. Can you change that to E85? Fuck you. Hey, Alex, go and single turbo on my 15 GT this winter. My question is, do you recommend twins or single turbos and why? 750 with a Lund tune. I recommend blowers. Blowers are sick. Get a blower. Thank you very much. Get a blower. Singles or twins, you're going to make more power with twins depending on the turbo size. They'll spool a little quicker if all things are equal. But I've recently seen singles make good power. What's the kit from that guy that moved to Texas? Starts with a C. I forget. He has a big single kit that's been around for a long time, and it runs really well. So, either way, you'll be fine. Pros of a Gen 3 Coyote over 4.6 valve, debating the swap. What? Pros of a Gen 3 Coyote over a 4.6 valve? I don't have enough time in this show to tell you what the pros are over a 4.6 valve. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? It's like saying, what's the pros of a Coyote over a pushrod 85 engine that has a carburetor in it? It's about the same difference. Oh, it's different. All the 4.6 valve guys are fucking losing their shit with their piece of shit 2 valves. How did you get into tuning? I started talking shit on Facebook, and a tuning company noticed and hired me. Looks like my car is tuned since I shifted on 7200. Would the tune revision be needed to run long tube catted headers? Thanks for the knowledge. It depends on who tuned it, all right? If we tuned it, it's more than likely pre-configured for exhaust modifications, but if it's not tuned by us, you might need to get a revision. If you get long tubes in it, it might run like dog shit. 2 valve equals AIDS. I didn't say that. Sean Bremmel said that. Someone said mispaid question. Lies. Looks like my car is tuned. He said I already got that. And then what's the other one? How'd you get into tuning? I already answered that. And that's it. Oh, here we go. 12 GT. When I clutch in and stop, the RPM rises and drops 700 to 1100 for 20 seconds and chops. Why is this? Lund cam tune. Thanks, Bicho. Because it's cammed. Look, no cam tune is going to be adjusted. If it stalls, too bad. If it bucks, too bad. You didn't pay for that tune. The cammed tune is free. So if a Lund cam tune, you clutch in, RPMs drop, rises to 1100, then chops, be glad that it chops. Seriously. What happened to that Coyote 3-valve versus 2-valve video? I don't know. It's somewhere on Facebook. If you go to Facebook on my YOLO douchebag page and click on videos, it's somewhere way buried in the nether regions. Carrie Dyson says, do E85R and Flex come together when bought? Yes. We start you on a Flex tune. We start you on a no Flex base. We say, here, log this guy. Make sure that everything is good. Then we get you a Flex and E85R tune once we're done. Mod Motor Ray says, hey, Alex, what's the difference on installing a Gen 5 Whipple on a 15 to 17 compared to an 18 Plus? Planning on getting one for my 16 GT. Always see them on the 18 Plus Mustangs. I don't think there's much of a difference, honestly. I think maybe the fuel rails are different, but I think Whipple provides fuel rails. I think Whipple provides the whole kit. There isn't a huge difference in install, honestly. I think it's pretty damn similar. The only difference in the Gen 2 versus Gen 3 motors are the direct injection. So the lower manifold takes that into account. These are, the rotors are underneath the intercooler on these, so there isn't a huge difference. I have seen some Gen 5 Whipples on Gen 1 cars, meaning Gen 1 Coyote gets a Gen 5 Whipple with the Gen 1 compatible throttle body electronics, which you have to be mindful of the install. Make sure you don't over crank that motherfucker, because that sucker will, start to fail safe on you too if you crank it down or use the gasket for the throttle body. So I don't think there's a big difference, Mod Motor Ray. I think they're both similar installs, and they seem to be making really, really good power, so I can't imagine you being disappointed with that setup at all. Alex, per recent video, having similar issue, what was the vacuum tubing that you modified? Thank you. Just look at the video, dude. I explain it all in the video. What was the vacuum tubing that you modified? It's in the video. Watch the video. I point to it. I go, that one. You should be paying me to comment. Why? Who the fuck are you, Tony? Alex, per recent video. Pat that one. Look, watch the video. Saying the question 15 times does not do anything. Watch the video. I literally point to the tubing that I adjust, and I tell you what I did. So if you didn't watch the whole video, watch the whole video. Hey, Alex, do you think a CJ setup is worth it on 11 to 14 93? Is it worth it on stock cams? Yeah, Steven, you can still make 430, 440 on pump gas, stock cams, Gen 1. I think it'll be pretty damn stout, honestly, on pump gas for a Gen 1. When an Endless Pro steps to a 5 Bro. Yeah, that was the best one. Alex, thinking about swapping the T56 into my GT at some point. I have 355s currently. What ratio trans, 297 or 266, and final drive ratio will make the car feel as if it has 355s in it now? Probably 297 for first and 410 rear. Trust me. I had that setup, and it felt about like a MT82 with 355s. So again, 297 first, 410 rear, or 373 if you don't want to put a custom 410 ring and pinion set in, and it'll be as close to that as possible. Alex, why is the Killer Chiller not talked about in the Coyote world? Coyote car gained 50 rear wheel horsepower, adding one. He didn't gain 50 horsepower with a Killer Chiller. The power is there. It's just the IATs kill it. So he didn't gain. If both cars are run at equal temperatures, meaning his car running at 120 IAT versus a car with a Killer Chiller at 120 IAT, it's going to say the same power. So he didn't gain anything. It just allowed the car to see denser air charge temps and made more power. But when you say gain to me, meaning, it makes more power, actually it allows the engine to have cooler air charge temps. But honestly, the Killer Chiller, I don't think is there yet, because I've seen the kit installed, and it's a great idea in theory. It's wonderful. I love it. I think the Dodge Demon has a factory version of one, and it is great. I don't think IATs get anything over like 80. I had a GT500 customer install one in his car. His IATs never got over 80 when ambient was 91. So it works. I just don't think the kit is great quality yet. and it's not mass produced, and the price is probably a little on the high side. I would do it in a heartbeat, absolutely. But relying on the AC system to cool your air charge temps, some people think it's not necessary. And if you're going to race the car, it's kind of hard to beat an ice tank setup. So it depends on who you ask. I would do it in a heartbeat. And some tracks don't want you to have the AC on. So I wonder how the killer chiller traps the condensation from falling onto the ground. Because if you're at a track and you have your AC on and you're condensing on the track, you will get yelled at and kicked out of the track. So I wonder how they remedy that. When would a KMA be useful? What the hell is a KMA? What do you mean, what's a KMA? I'm like, I don't know what the hell a KMA. You don't give me acronyms. If you're going to ask questions, like, make sure you're very clear, especially if you paid for a question. Don't say, when would a KMA be useful, if I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Alex, does a converter not necessarily mean an increase in mile per hour of the track, even though it gets out of the hole faster? Correct. If anything, think about it this way. If you hook, if you front half better, you will back half less. Okay, let's say, for instance, when you ever spin at the track and mile an hour like higher than when you hook. Well, think about it that way. A converter will allow you to use all of your grip. Let's say the car grips and it takes off and it makes, it runs 115, 116. And if you spin the tires, it actually has more mile an hour, but a slower ET. The converter is not going to make power. It's just going to allow you to be higher in the power band, getting out of the hole quicker. So you might mile an hour less. I've seen some guys that get a little squirrely down the track, or they spin a little and the car gets more mile an hour. Then they run, let's say, for instance, an 8.0 car goes, 170, and then it goes 799 at 168. I've seen that happen many times because it hooked that second pass. Rupier says, Alex, what solutions are there for having low boost on a road course and more boost for street? Would low boost still cause heat issues? Any boost will cause heat issues, but low boost for a road course? Yeah, I mean, obviously, if I was ever to go to a road course in the 2019 manual car, I would probably have to put the biggest pulley on there, like a 3.8, because I don't want to go on the road course because you're creating heat. At the end of the day, like the other day, I was in traffic, just sitting there because someone had a car accident, and the IAT still got to 140. So that made me think, I thought IATs would always be ambient with a setup like that, but as there's not enough airflow coming across, the heat exchanger is still going to be an issue. So if you're actually boosting the car constantly, like a constant, the air's just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, no matter how you cut it, no matter how you slice it. So you're only going to get a couple of laps out of that car with pretty favorable IAT. Even in naturally aspirated form, the cars get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter the more you lap the cars. That's why Frank Perdomo had to reconfigure his cold air to be in the fender so that IATs won't go higher, higher, and higher. So yes, if you're going to be road coursing the car, you don't need to have 700 rear wheel horsepower. In the 500s is more than enough. Actually, I would probably reconfigure my bypass situation so it makes about 500 like it was before, and that would be perfect for a road course. Orlando Chavez says, do you see VMP Comcam vid? Barely made 460 at wheel with the 19 GT. Love the vids. Damn shame you haven't reached over 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, I mean, look, I think my channel is pretty influential. Wait, 460 wheel on a 19 GT? Don't they make like 440 stock? I think my channel is pretty influential, so maybe the subscribers don't show how influential the channel can be. I have 567 people watching right now, and I have people paying $20 a pop for questions. So at the end of the day, I think that's where my influence comes in, and I think the people that watch my channel are Mustang people only, like specific. If I was like a general car guy, like that douche in blue and all that shit, I probably could reach more people, but they're teenagers that don't buy product, whereas most of the people that watch me are probably adults that buy shit, I would think. But I appreciate that. But I'm going to tune a Comcam car, NA, coming up pretty soon. Going to get on the dyno, see what he makes. He's on E85, full bolt-on, meaning just a ported manifold, E85 and 2018 and up Comcam Stage 2s. I already talked to Junior about it. We're going to be tuning it. But 460 wheel on a Comcam car? That sucks. I'm sorry. That sucks. I don't care who tuned it. Can Lund tune a PCM after it's been tuned by Palm Beach Dyno? Yes. 16 GT Roush cold air intake. Stainless Works long tubes. FFE flex fuel, I think. 18 manual LE47 E85 R-tune horsepower. So 16 GT with an 18 manifold and LE47s and E85 long tube. 440, 450, maybe 460 if it's really happy and seeing about 31 degrees. Maybe. That's going to be tough though. I think in the 440, 450 range is more, it's more likely. Patrick Martin says, Alex, Gen 1 Coyote MT82, thinking of doing either VMP 2.3 or Gen 3 2.6. Which one would you select to keep the stock long block alive, pump gassed? Love the channel. Sorry to beat the same Gen 1 horse, dead horse. 2.3. If you get a Gen 2R, that's all you need. That is all you need. A 2.3 Gen 2R on a stock long block can make 850 real horsepower with the right fuel and the right pulley. 69 pulley, E85, you can make 800 wheel. Bam. Why? Because we've done it so many times. 800 wheel, 2.3, 69 pulley, E85 every single time. So because the Gen 1 motor likes to explode at 700 or so rear wheel horsepower, that's more than enough. Now, people would say, well, why not get the Gen 3, spin the rotor slower? Because I know you're going to want to put a smaller and smaller pulley in it. Think of it this way. Putting a Gen 3 anything is like putting a 4-liter Whipple on top of something. Would you ever consider putting a 4-liter Whipple on top of a stock Coyote motor? No. Then why would you consider a Gen 3 on a stock Coyote motor? That's how I look at it. Maybe people say, well, the 4-liter Whipple is massive. Correct. But if you pulley it properly, IATs will be good. The rotors are spinning slower. The sheer size of the 4-liter Whipple will cause the car to work less hard and make good power. So why wouldn't you consider a 4-liter Whipple, but you do consider a Gen 3 TVS? You know what I mean? Thoughts on the pocket pussy? So I don't need to jerk off that much. I'm lucky. And even when I was a single guy, I wasn't one of those guys that just constantly was just whacking. I'm a busy guy, and I think depending on how busy you are is how often you jerk off. Because if you're just hanging out, you're just jerking off. If you're busy, meaning you got cars, you got an active hobby, you go to the gym, you're dating, you're not jerking off that much. So the pocket pussy is for people that have a lot of time and need to constantly pocket pussy. I love the theory of the pocket pussy. That's great. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. Like it's convenient in case you need to jerk off in an emergency situation. Thank you, Johnny 50. I love questions like that. Hey, Alex, this weekend I'll be racing at Stock Manual Hellcat Challenger on drag radio, and I have a manual 16 with an 18 manifold, 85 long tubes, full 3-inch exhaust, and 355 gears. Can I take it down? If it's a manual Hellcat, yeah, you probably could take it down. But if he can drive, good luck. It's a TR6060. If he knows how to shift it and he knows how to get going, it's gonna be a driver's race. If he can't drive it that good and you get a good launch out of that pig, I think it'll be a close race. But if you're both even out of the hole, he's got size, displacement, blower. He's probably going to take you. So you got to get him out of the hole and keep him at bay. Get him by 3 cars or so, because if not, he's going to come around you at the big end. Guaranteed. Mustang Turbo Honda and Evo guy. That douche in blue. Thank you very much. Alex, what's better? Un metro de encaje negro o que el negro te encaje el metro? That's wonderful. More dating stories. What's up, Becha? I'll tell you guys a dating story later. Right around 9:40 or so, I'll tell you a quick dating story. But I know you guys are going to probably start giving me paid questions and get mad if I miss them. So let me go to the paid questions quick. Get them out of the way. D-Self says, keep memory alive, KMA. Oh, keep alive memory. See, you said it wrong. It's CAM. Keep alive memory, not keep memory alive. Keep memory alive is if you have like someone that died and you want to keep his memory alive. When would a KMA be useful? Meaning a KAM. Keep alive memory. Keep alive memory is useful if you ever want to reset your flex fuel and not have to wait to fill up. You can just reset your cam. If you have a cold air that was leaking for a long time and you found the leak and then you want the car to relearn the fueling, reset the cam. That's kind of it. It's fueling correction, and the flex fuel is basically fueling correction. So it's only necessary when you want the car to kind of forget anything that is learned fueling wise. So if you had a bad fuel leak or if you had the wrong cold air for a long time and it learned a 20% lean or 20% rich condition and you want to just boom, get it all to zero and have it learn again, you can do a cam reset. or if you ever want to reset the flex fuel tune. Thoughts on pocket pussy? Got that. The White House reception committee greeted the prime rib roast minister, and I do the cha-cha like a sissy girl. I like do da da cha-cha. I'm sorry, we seem to be having some tactical difficulties. S550 Vert paid me $10, and I said that. Why not? It's just a 6 having problems with MMR and rings. Impossible. Come on, man. Look, I actually watch this channel. It doesn't suck. It's not good, but it doesn't suck. He seems like a nice kid. He has a ton of subscribers. I don't know why. He has a ton of views. I don't know why. The only thing I could think of that he's likable. He's likable. You look at him and you're like, hey, he's a likable kid. He's not a douchebag like me. And he's someone that you want to see him succeed. You want to see him do well, and you want to live life through him. I get that. But the moment I saw him getting engines from that manufacturer, I went, who is advising this kid? Who is advising this kid? You know? When I see people like that and they jump from tuner to tuner to tuner to tuner, I go, dude, you're lost. The people that do the best is when they stick to a tuner and stick to a combination, whether it be us or someone else, you're loyal. So your loyalty is then rewarded by us just really getting after it and making sure your car is running great, because we want to be on your team. And we want to be on your team, and we want us and we want you to be on our team. It's mutually beneficial. You go fast, we look good. We look good, you go fast. It's great. But then when I saw him jumping from tuner to tuner to tuner based on who's giving you what, I said, dude, you're fucked. You're fucked. Sorry. But I hope he gets his issues figured out, that he goes to a reputable engine builder, gets it built properly, talks to somebody that knows shit. Don't just go out there on the internet, because if you go to forums, internet, or talk to the wrong people, they're going to steer you the wrong way based on their interests. You know what I mean? Someone's like, you missed a few paid questions. Love you, bro. I'm working on it, motherfucker. What the fuck do you think? I need to have a show, and I need to talk about what I want to talk about. I'm not just a question and answer service. Hell, I could just skip all these questions and just take your money. Only able to drag race once. You have to choose donk or Jap crap. Why? Love the content. A donk. Donk. I like donks. I like an old Impala in the 70s with big 25s with a big block and a big blower with them beautiful fucking $18,000 wheels going 9s. I'd race a donk before any Jap crap. Orlando Chavez, trying to decide a Coyote swap into my Fox body or New Edge. Fox body. Actually, according to some people, the New Edge is a Fox body. Why didn't you just say Fox body? Because everyone says Fox body goes all the way to 04. But all of a sudden you said Fox body or New Edge. Oh, we're talking about the body style, not the chassis. Shut up. Any benefit of swapping one into the other? One a daily to have fun with? Well, your New Edge came with a modular, so the Coyote probably fits in the current K-member. So you don't have to do many suspension mods to the New Edge to fit your shit, because it came with a modular. So it should fit. The only problem you're going to have is when it comes time to decide on what header to use. And then header manufacturers are now saying, well, it'll fit with this AJE K-member. It'll fit with the Maximum K-member. It'll fit with the UPR K-member. So I think it fits, and I think the New Edge is going to be more cost effective because it's less work you have to do to the suspension. Evil guy here. Love your channel and your information on Mustangs. Keep up the good work, bro. OG08 GSR. Thank you, sir. Joe Daniel, you missed a few big questions. Love you, bro. Thank you, Joe Daniel. Joe Daniel. I wonder who that is. Root beer. Let's hear your Tony Montana impression. I don't have one. It's like the same basic Hispanic guy. My best impression is like a Puerto Rican that sounds Mexican. Like, okay, if you're Carlito's Way, which is Tony Montana, it's the same guy. When you see him in Carlito's Way, he is actually a damn good Puerto Rican accent. When Benny Blanco was at the club and Stephanie was with him and Kleinfeld, two people will get all these references. He, the waiter or the other owner of the restaurant, Sasso, said, that is, what is his name? Carlito, do you know who that is? He goes, no, I don't know who that is. He goes, that's Benny Blanco from the Bronx. He goes, maybe I don't give a shit. Maybe I don't remember the last time I blew my nose either. Who the fuck are you? You think you're me? Go snatch your purse. That was like so Puerto Rican of him to say, and the Puerto Ricans in the 70s and 80s were kind of like that. And then when he met him at the stairwell and he's like, you come in this club again, you die. Just like that. And I was like, oh man, it reminded me of my dad when I was growing up. He talked just like that. If you're late coming in, he smacked the shit out of you and he threatened you like if he's going to fight you. That's what's missing nowadays with kids. Parents that beat the shit out of their kids. Do you think now's a good time to buy a new Mustang, or should I wait for the next gen? Trying to get out of my 435i and come back from my crash in 2017. You tuned that car and I miss it. I don't know enough about the new car. Remember when the new 18 started coming out and then engine ticking, MT82's blowing up, all this and that? Why not get a car that's already vetted? Meaning, why not just buy something that is already done and you don't have to worry about? Meaning, the tuning is done, turbos are out there, ready to go. Or do you want to be latest and greatest? If you want to be latest and greatest? Don't wait for 2021. Wait for 2030. Fuck it. Why not? I'm going to wait for the 2030. You got to decide what you want to do first. Do you want to go fast? Do you want to race? Do you want to be latest and greatest? If you want to be latest and greatest, wait for 2021 and be part of the crowd that becomes, the people that vet what's wrong. Just like me, 2018 Mustang, blew up the transmission, fuel pump went to shit, engine started ticking. 18 Mustang gone. Got into my 19, no issues. Roll the dice, but at the end of the day, you really got to figure out what you want. Okay, perfect. I think I got everyone caught up in terms of paid questions anyway. There's a $10 one lingering around. Let me see. With the technology advancement from 11 to 19 Mustang, do you think Ben Callum or anyone will ever start making stage 3 for the 18 and up Mustangs? I'm working on that. Someone said it's just a 6-incher. Hey, 6 inches is more than what you motherfuckers have. Is prostate stimulation gay? Only if you get hard. If you're at the doctor and he puts a finger in your butt and you get hard, you're gay. If you come, you're gay. Are you into edging? No. That's the part about we were talking about what if a guy is better at giving head than a woman? I would think a guy is better because he's familiar with the equipment. Edging isn't a thing. Rhythm, up and down, stroking. It's easy. But I'm a guy. So, I would never try it because that would be gay. But in my mind, I'm like, it's easy. Because guess what? Who can jerk you off better than you? Who can jerk you off better than you? Nobody. Did you see that YouTuber that lets some Bicho drifter drift his 1,500 horsepower Shelby on the street in traffic? No. Fuck no. No way. I wouldn't even. Drifting to me, look, drifting's great, and I love Matt Sopa, but it's not a motor sport. I think it's a skill. A sport to me means competition, meaning, well, boxing is judged too, so maybe I'm wrong on that. But if the guy getting to the finish line first isn't the objective, then I'm not interested. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not interested. Might be a dumb question, but I bought a tuner from VMP when you were with them. Can I use that tuner with Lund? Yeah, if it's an N gauge, we can convert it to one of ours. If it's a SET device, we can get you a tune right away. This dude tuned my Roush Blackjack, best tuner ever, SV6 Mustang. Who, me? I don't know if Roush Blackjack. I only tuned one Roush Blackjack, and it was a 3-valve M90 car in Carlisle. Oh my God. What's needed for 47-pound? What is needed other than 47-pound injectors and a tune from Lund to run the 85 on a Boss 302? That's it. Injectors and a tune. Might be a dumb question, but okay, I got that. But Tony was Cuban. You're right, but he's Italian, and in Carlito's way, he's Puerto Rican. So it's the same shit, except Cubans say pinga, and I say bicho. Who do I sound like for $20 more? You can win this Corvette. Classic movie. I love Carlito's Way. What are your thoughts on AED? Also, your last live, you answered my question about gears. 373 for 331 for my. I like Sean. Sean's a good guy. Has a very quick, super quick CPR turbo equipped S550 Mustang. That's the turbo kit I was talking about. I like him. Pachanga, heavy duty. That's right. Remember Pachanga when he goes, hey, Carlito, they shotgun him to death, man. They shotgun him. And then when Lalin comes up, and he's a rat fuck. He got out of jail because he cut a deal with the lawyer, the DA. And he's like, Carlito, what's up, man? I got out. I beat it. He's like, you beat it, huh? He goes, yeah, man. I did like you. I read books and shit, man. And he's like, oh, that's it. Then he finds he's wearing a wire. And he goes, is this how you beat your fucking case? And Lalin has probably the best line that was used in South Park and used in many other TV shows. He goes, man, look at me. And, okay, Lalin ended up being paralyzed because he used to be a stand-up guy, very good looking. He's actually the guy from Lord of the Rings, the king. Viggo Mortensen or something like that. Is it Viggo? Yeah. So he's paralyzed and he's ratting on Carlito, trying to get info for the DA to see if he's still in the drug game. And he's like, you got everything. I got nothing, Carlito. I piss in a bag. Look at me. I shit my pants every day. I can't hump. You know? I can't hump. I got no dick. I got no dick, man. I got no dick. Wonderful. Wonderful movie. Yes, I went to Wendy's because I was putting the roll cage in the Fairmont today. Favorite porn category, Bicho. Latinas. You type in Latina, you get it all. You get a skinny one, you get a fat one, you get a big butt one, you get a big breast one, you get everything. It's like going to a, Golden Corral. You get everything. It's kind of shitty, but you get it all. So Latinas. Just type in Latinas on Pornhub, YouPorn, YouJizz. You're good for a while. Ex-hamster's a little weird. Have you ever had a girl do you with a strap? No, gosh, no, never happening. Pachanga, heavy duty. Por ser las gatigas, I'm changing my fuel to C85 race fuel. What's the best race fuel to make good power? C85 is very good race fuel. Q16, Ignite, and then there's E85R, like VP or Sunoco E85R. Basically, it's same stoic, but all the 15% isn't just garbage and chocolate milk. It's actually good shit. 5.8 Shelby versus a 5.4 Shelby. Why do you think the 5.4 is superior? I think the 5.4 is superior because it's less wrung out, meaning both can make the same power. Both can make 850, 825 stock. I think the 5.8 has higher compression and is more wrung out factory. And I think the 5.4 can do it a little looser, like, got this, no problem. The 5.8's like, oh shit, 850, god damn it. And the 5.4 goes, 850, it's all good. That's the best way I can describe it. Ba-doom-doom. Yo, Alex, when are you going to do an episode with Manuel Midnight Performance? Y'all will be funner together. No, he wouldn't. He thinks I hate him. He's sensitive. He ain't a bro. I love him. He's a good guy, great customer. He ain't a bro. He can't hang. He can't hang with me. Not that he's a bad guy. We just, oil and water. We just don't mix, We just have different personalities. I've met him, hung out with him. He's a great guy. We just have different personalities. Sometimes, like me and Christian, we mesh really well. Other people wouldn't mesh well with me, and I don't think me and him would do that good on the show. How do all the slow cars have sponsors? This is why, Mario, the slow cars have sponsors, because the sponsors know that they have probably decent reach, and they're willing to regurgitate whatever the sponsors are telling them as truth. For a while, I was almost caught up in that game. I was like, wait a minute. Someone had sponsored a part for me, and I'm like, this part sucks. So do I say this part sucks, or do I shut my mouth and run the part? All right, I decided not to run the part, and I got in trouble for that. I got in trouble from that manufacturer talking a whole bunch of shit about me. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I can't run your product. It sucks. Thanks for the product. Do you want it back? Do you want the money back? What do you want? No, fuck you, man. I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. So a lot of people that are out there repping shit all the time are getting free stuff, and they're happy to get free stuff. And I don't blame them, because if you can't afford to go buy certain things, the next best thing is to get a social media campaign going, be big on social media, and get free parts. And that's a cheap way of you going fast. But you got to understand, a lot of these people are just going to regurgitate what manufacturers tell them. I was a bad person to do that with. I actually looked at the data and I said, I don't like it. I have a FIC banner back here. Guess what? The injectors had to go through a tough vetting process, and the ones we support are the 1650s and the FIC 1000Hs. Okay, those are the ones we recommend as Lund Racing, and the ones I recommend as Alejandro Flores. Anything else, I just have not tested, and I cannot give you any idea on it. So that's why a lot of people that just regurgitate what's given to them as fact is because they have to, because they have no other option, really. Alex had some pipe bombs on the black car. I did, and I bought the pipe bombs because when I was getting into the Coyote game, I'm like, let me try these. And then I put them on, I'm like, ew. And you know what I ended up with? Stock GT500 mufflers. I bought all those parts. They were not sponsored. On 3 twin kit or a Paxton 2200. Dude, it's tough to beat any twin turbo kit, especially an on 3. Brandon DeRita has a twin turbo kit, made 1100 plus rear wheel horsepower on the 85. Really tough to beat that kit. The Paxton 2200 just cannot outflow air-wise any on 3 twin turbo setup. Sponsored by Pipes, like that rider dude. He has Pipes on his car. Well, he was sponsored by them. I bought them, so I'm the sucker. Have you ever gotten a rim job? Like a half moon job. Not a complete rim, like a half moon. It was like, what? I'm like, whoa, hey. What was that? How about the Astros? H-Town. Yeah, you know what's funny about the Astros is if they played, the Red Sox didn't make the playoffs. But if they did, they would have beaten those Astros because we did last year. Congrats to them. They have a great team, young. They're going to be around for a while, man. It's a nice little dynasty in the making they have going in Houston. And that's good because, Houston needs a winner because the Rockets suck and the Texans suck. So you can hang your hat on the Astros. Alex, hopes this message finds you well and in good spirits. Heavy duty. And that's what people used to say back in the day, man. Like, that's badass. Esto está heavy duty, coño. Esto está heavy duty, man. He got shotgun to death. Have you ever been to an Asian massage parlor? Yes. There was one. There was one where I went up to Lund Racing and I ended up. It was called Massage Zone, and that's a rub and tug. That is a rub and tug. But I was the dumbass that actually got a actual massage there. Actually, it was good. It was good massage. She cracked my neck. She did my freaking hamstrings and my calves, and I was like, oh, she was strong as fuck. Imagine if she would have stroked on that dick. That would have been a great time, but. Nope, but it was definitely a rub and tug. You could just tell the way the place was. I literally just needed a back massage because I was just tight forever. And I was like, this is a rub and tug for sure. Alex, should you build 80? Wait. Shelby by LSX LOL. Boost. What's the highest mileage GT500 you've tuned? Wow, good question. There was one that had like 80,000 miles, like 85,000, like an 07 that 85,000. Made good power, dude. Made like 740 with a freaking 2.8 Kenny Bell. Deep tissue massage hurts like hell. It does. Like, they don't fuck around. Heavy duty. Everyone's just saying heavy duty. Yeah, John Lund goes, yes. John Lund, you know that massage zone or whatever, relaxed zone is a rub and tug. That's a rub and tug, bro. All I have to do is like, you jerky? And then she's like, of course. That's very racist. Oh, yes. Of course, I thought you'd never ask. Why doesn't Lund sell tuning mods such as BAPs and everything? We're not in the parts game. That's just a good way of getting on radars that you don't want to be on, so we're good on that. Massage parlor in Florida, same one that the celebs get caught at. That one is actually not far from me. The one that Robert Kraft got sucked off on that's not far from me. I've never been to any massage parlor in Florida, not one. What's too high mileage for 11 to 12 GT500? Following with 120K for a steel. If it's a steel, it's a problem. If it was highway miles, no big deal. If it was beat the shit 120,000 miles, but you can't verify that, if it's a steel, roll the dice, brother. John Lund says, no way, bro. Yeah, I think John, look at the place closely. It had the weird curtains and all this shit. So I was like, I don't know. It looked a little Robin Tuggy. Lizzie Musi. I'm terrible with the name. Lizzie Musi says, hey, Alejandro Flores. So I did some research. She's actually a somebody. She, I believe, is on the No Prep King circuit. Her dad is Pat Musi, legendary engine builder. Thanks for being a fan, Lizzie. Appreciate that. Now you're going to get all the guys hitting up on you big time. Neon sign at the door. No, it just said relax zone, like in cardboard, and someone like a child in fourth grade, like, relax zone, come here. Oh, relax zone. Would you like to relax? It's $20 and will you give it half hour? Flown him a lot. Yeah, you've flown him. Yeah. So John, okay, I'm not going to get into it, John, because I don't want to implicate you in anything. But yes, John has flown many celebrities. I think you picked up, hey, John, were you the guy that picked up Meek Mill at jail? I got John Lone picking me up, bitch. Chow mein chupas. Blue Goose broke Dyno tonight. Did it break the dyno or did it make a lot of power, John Lund? I know that you were on the dyno messing around. Mike Grabowski says, gotcha, thanks for the response. Been watching your channel since the OG YOLO, best YouTuber hands down. I don't want to be known as a YouTuber that's actually kind of like, I don't know, I don't like that. Hey, Lizzie, did you ever talk to Kai about, I don't know if you're going out with Kai anymore. I have no idea about your personal life, but did you ever talk to Kai if he's still salty about the shit that I made about the Aftershock, the car that he runs? I'm not sure. I'm curious, cause I'm like, does he even give a shit? If he does, I'd lose it. It's funny as fuck. What's your opinion on the McLeod Street Extreme clutches? I don't know much about the Street Extremes. All I know is the RXTs and the RSTs. Those are the only ones that I know. What's your preference? Bush, stubble, landing strip, or bald eagle? Okay, that's a great question, Paul. I either want trimmed bush or bald eagle. I don't want a landing strip. It's in the way. It's in the way. You literally put it where I need to be. I'd rather have some or none. How's that? Alfredo Diaz, what's a good RPM limit for a stock bottom end? Gen 1 with boss heads, cams, and intake. 7,500. That's a nice number, 7,500. When I read the tweet that Trump was helping ASAP Rocky from jail, I thought it was fake as fuck. Thoughts on 1320 Girl? Don't know who that is. Lizzie, will you be in Dallas Outlaws this final weekend? I'm down for a grudge race versus Blue Goose. I will red light well, actually, look, you're gonna tree John. John is just really late on the tree. So, but then he's just gonna pass you like it's like you're standing still. So you're better just letting him tree you because it doesn't look as bad because he's not passing you. He's just ahead of you and he's gone and he's a dot. Do not grudge race the Blue Goose, please. That thing is a fucking insane mobile. Opinion on C6 Z06 is the best Corvette in my opinion. I love C6s. King Daddy is C6 ZR1 still, but the C7 ZR1 seems to be super duper King Daddy with that 2650 once you get that down the track, especially with the auto, believe it or not. Thoughts on the C8 550 horsepower dyno numbers? Already, like within the first 5 minutes, I talked about it. Someone said, okay, the triangle Lizzie Music account is a fake. Oh, okay, if it's a fake, it's a fake. What are you gonna do? The Aftershock is actually Lizzie's car. Okay, which is faster, FBO 17 GT85 or stock 19? Whew. Stock 19 GT on E85 will give a FBO 17 GT a run for its money. Meek, oh my God, exactly, John. Meek Mill, man, pick me up in my shit. And imagine that helicopter, the one you fly is the one that picks him up. You're like, what the hell is happening in this world? Are Viking shocks worth it for an auto FBO Mustang at the track or street? Yes and yes. You always want to be able to adjust your dampening when you can, okay? Always. C8 pulled 550 on a dyno. C8 pulled 550 on a dyno. Yes, Motor Trend tested a C8 on a dyno, and it made 558 from 100 up from the advertised 460 or 480. Unreal. Michael Myers, hell yeah, need his opinion on the Coyote I'm about to get, whatever that is. Yeah, I can't afford a C7 ZR1, so a C6 seems great. Yep, C6 is badass shit. C6 ZR1 is badass shit. Jamie Cardell says, answer me, Beach. So let me go up, Jamie, see if I can see your question. Why don't you just ask the question again instead of being a cuck and answer me? Did you pay? Let me see, make sure. I bought a 13 GT that had 20-inch SVT wheels, 500 on the rear, also had 305s. Are those too wide for that wheel? Can't find specs on them. No, 305s are okay on a stock performance package GT500 wheel. Here we go. Paul Monaco, what would you do if you were banging a girl and her box had a smell? Now, very good question, Paul Monaco. How about the Astros H down? Okay. Paul Monaco says, what would you do if you were banging a girl and her box had a smell? So, if there was a smell, it doesn't get to banging. It just doesn't get to banging, right? You know, you can kind of take a survey of the area and see what's going on, which leads me to my dating story. Let's gonna end this day with a dating story, just so you guys are up to snuff on dating bullshit. So, when I was single, like after a year being single, you know, I ever banged a squirter. Yeah, not fun. It's just a lot of cleanup. Any 18 plus single turbo kits you'd recommend? 18 plus single turbo kits I'd recommend. I think On3 has something coming out if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know many single turbo kits out there for 18 plus. Anyway, so I was single about a year And I dated, different types of people in the area, and I just wasn't having any luck. Maybe it's the area because West Palm Beach is a more adult crowd. A lot of people are back into partying and drinking and hanging out, and I'm not that guy. I don't drink, smoke, I don't hang out, I don't do any of that shit. So it's hard to find someone my age, normal, that doesn't drink and isn't recovering from smack in this area. So I started dating people that I normally would not date. So I went out with a Indian girl, the dot, not the feather. So we go to the restaurant. She is very pretty. If you look at Indian women, I mean, some are very, very attractive women. So she had the typical, Indian look, very dark skin, long black hair. Everything was on the money. But when I hugged her, I'm a hugger. So I say, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And I was like, what was that? But maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Go to the restaurant and she had a very heavy accent, the typical, Indian accent. I'm not going to make, obviously just use your imagination, but she knew English very well. She was educated, had a child. So she was very much an adult. So I'm looking at her going, well, this is going well. It's still a little weird, because I'm not used to it and the cultures are very different. So I wonder how that's going to go down. So, date's going well. I mean, as well as a date can go. There's no crazy chemistry or sparks or anything like that. So I'm just like, okay. So the end of the night comes and I walk her to her car because I am a gentleman. And I was like, all right, give her a hug goodbye. So I hug her and I smell it again. I go, again, this is in no way me telling people Indian people smell. This is not okay, so stop that. But during the midst of the hug, you can feel that she wanted more than a hug. You got to read body language. So I thought, well, this is an opportunity to really pinpoint where that smell is coming from, right? So I'm like, wait, yeah, if we make out, I might be like, hey, maybe it's her breath or whatever. So I couldn't find it. It was elusive. The smell was in a general vicinity, but it wasn't like right somewhere where I can pinpoint. So I ended up going, for a peck on the cheek, and obviously she wanted a little more. So I was like, okay, it's not her mouth, it's not her face, it's not her makeup. I have no idea what's going on. So what I did do is, after just a peck, I kind of went down and it was in the armpit area, and I went, Now, how can I describe the smell? If you've ever been, again, I'm not saying Indian people smell, but maybe she had a bad day. But so if you ever go to like a 7-Eleven at 3 a.m, that's what it smelled. It smelled like, and I was like, oh, yeah, 5-day-old onions, root beer. Yeah, it was that. And I went, gosh, nice girl. Everything was fine. The date was great. She's attractive, educated, everything. But her armpits really smelled. I'm not saying Indian smell. I'm just saying this lady's particular armpits did have a smell. And that was the deal breaker right then and there. Because if it is right here and it smells, I cannot imagine what's further away from your body and it not smelling. So yeah, that's, everyone's like, drop her IG. She doesn't have an IG. She's an adult. She's a grown ass woman. So, that's that. So I'll leave you with that story because there are no paid questions. Someone says, Alex has a pregnant lady nose. I do. Oh, I dread smelling my clothes. Like I probably overdo it with the detergent and the softener sheets and the dryer sheets. And like everything, my house has all these I do not want to be known as a guy that stinks. That would be the worst thing on the planet. God damn it, Mod Motor Ray, don't pay. Me again, planning on Turbo Coyote swapping my Fox. I want something fun, stick or auto, 1,000 horsepower. If I gotta let them hang, I'm gonna let them hang then. Stick, brother. There's nothing more fun than an 800 rear wheel horsepower stick car. You can do all this shit, let it hang, drift, do all this bullshit. It is a fun fucking time. Okay, guys, let's end it there before you start paying me some questions. We'll end it on the smelly girl story, and I'll give you many more stories to come as the as it becomes available. I've been on for over an hour and a half. That's usually when I try to cut it off. So we'll talk next week. This week, I'm going to try to get the Fairmont done, get it to the track, get you some testing. There's Cars and Coffee this week. I'll try to get it to that, get you video of that shit. So thanks for listening. Talk to you later.